Transatlantic Free Trade Area is a project that came up in the 90s and is aimed to create a free trade agreement between the European Union and the United States, and eventually its partners Canada and Mexico in NAFTA. It intends to create the world's largest free trade area, protect investment, and remove unnecessary regulatory barriers. TAFTA represents a challenge to other trade negotiations and the trade openness for the rest of the world. If not invited to the negotiations, Mexico will lose 7.24% in real income, and bilateral trade flows with the US will only increase 10%. Non-TAFTA countries could understand TAFTA as a signal that the world's richest countries are more concerned in jointly discriminate against the rest than in opening their markets to the developing countries. The Transatlantic Liberalization Initiative should also relate to issues not agreed upon in the WTO and could thereby become the motivating force for multilateral liberalization in new areas.
Trans-Pacific Partnership was signed on February 4, 2016 in Auckland, New Zealand. It involves 12 countries from 4 regions of the world. This treaty, in addition to regular topics, also seeks to regulate activities from state-owned enterprises, intellectual property, e-commerce, and also intends to provide opportunities for pymes. For Mexico, this treaty opens 6 new markets and increases the benefits with other 5 countries which already had a treaty. Also provides better opportunities for pymes, which are really important, taking in account that pymes represent for Mexico 52% of GDP and 72% of employment. TPP seeks to protect the authenticity of products with Mexican origin and provide better conditions for agriculture, textile, and manufacturing. According to an article published by El Financiero, TPP would mean to double the investment in pharmaceutical innovation in Mexico, passing from $200 to $500 million annually in the following 6 years. An improvement for TPP will be to reinforce its mechanism for monitoring to ensure that points like the support to pymes are really being implemented, not as it has been in the case of other treaties in which this point has failed, and to ensure there are sanctions in case of failure.
The Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation was created in 1989 and has 21 member economies that work towards the realization of free and open trade. Its 3 main pillars are trade and investment liberalization, business facilitation, and economic and technical. East Asia represents a challenge and opportunity for Mexico because of the high competitiveness of Asian economies and because of the potential of markets in eastern countries. In 2012, APEC region's total trade increased over 7 times, outpacing the rest of the world, with 2/3 of this trade occurring between member economies. With constructive leadership, the US can play a critical role in vitalizing APEC and producing significant new momentum toward an open trading system.
The FTAA aims to be an expansion of NAFTA that can reach all the American continent except for Cuba. Its first component develops the overall work plan for the FTAA, while the second gathers information on the current status of trade in the hemisphere. The third coordinates working groups and makes recommendations to the trade ministers. Although the treaty is not a reality, Mexico could benefit from it by diversifying its international market. Opening up to Mercosur and the Caribbean countries can actually make it less dependent on the US and, of course, on NAFTA. This ambitious treaty requires that all of its complementary factors be analyzed in depth. It is also recommended that national economies are not left at the mercy of the international market. Moreover, it is of the utmost importance that regional powers do not take advantage of the treaty so that equality prevails.
What should be improved in Mexico's foreign trade policy is a small diversification of exportations due to some conditions and regulations of free trade agreements. It can be established with an opening to foreign markets, reducing import tariffs, and promoting trade.
Mexico's future trade policy must ensure employment in the country, promote cooperation that will help in the country's development, have a synergy between its foreign interests and its national one, leave behind its dependency on a single economy, and reduce its corruption index to increase foreign direct investment.
Created using Powtoon.